right, what's going on, fellow gamers? This is another episode of the Old Man Gamers. I am Jose.
And this is Brodny.
And today we are going to go over the Xbox Series X game reveal.
Or the game showcase.
Game showcase, yes.
Yeah.
So, they had a lot of games that they showed. And we're going to cover a couple of them.
But before we get into that, we want to give a shout out to Panini Mini, who won our NBA 2K21 giveaway.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thanks to everybody who participated. And we're going to be doing some more giveaways in the future. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Thanks everybody that participated. Like B said, thanks for the support. And keep supporting us so we can keep bringing you good content and, some awesome prizes. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah. So where did you want to start with the showcase there?
Yeah. So I kind of sorted the games by, my categories, like, games for all ages. Some of the, adult, mature only, mature audience only games, horror games, things like that. So let's do the fun stuff first, I guess. Let's do the all ages, and we're gonna run by this quick because most of these games we're not gonna play.
Yeah.
So Forza Motorsports.
Right. Yes, the more realistic, much less fun version of Forza.
Okay. Yeah. It looked like the same thing to me, but it's a racing game.
No, it's not. See, it's like Gran Turismo, where like the realism is the thing. This is for people who like are into racing, who want to be racers or are racers themselves. Like that's the target audience, the gearheads.
Is this like one of these games that they use for like that Formula One racing, like those?
No, I think most of those are like actual PC simulations where you have like the actual chair and the wheels and the pedals and everything. It's like, but I mean that's what they're kind of shooting for. That's
one of these days,
their aim.
Yeah, one of these days we have to dedicate a show to that wonderful story of a race car driver using
hiring a pro gamer to run his actual race.
Yes, and getting caught. That deserves a whole show to itself. And
that's fantastic. I mean, listen, if I'm not a professional gamer and you're telling me we have to run our games on our races on video games, why would I not do that?
Yes. We're not journalists, but this might require a little bit of journalism. We gotta see if we can bring on somebody that's close to that situation and maybe give us a little bit more insight, because that's a great story.
Yeah,
that's a great story. Yeah, but yeah, so that's our review of Forza Motorsports.
The photorealistic graphics, it looks amazing.
Yeah,
it's just a chore to play if you are not into racing.
Yeah,
but if you are, have fun. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. So there's that. The next one is. Do you have the list up here? Can you see it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't have it up right now.
All right. So the next one I have up here is Everwild, and it looked nice. I just didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah. No. Everwild looks outstanding. That's from Rare, the same people who do Sea of Thieves, and they used to be Nintendo Studio. They had a lot of games from Nintendo, Perfect Dark, Conquer, and all that. I love the art style. It's a cartoony game, but it doesn't look like a kids cartoon kind of thing.
Right.
They didn't show a whole lot of the actual gameplay. So at this point, when I look at the trailers for Everwild, I think it's something I would rather watch than play, because I don't have any idea what the actual game is yet.
Right. Yeah.
It's that crew of magic users, and they look like they're protecting nature from some sort of threat, but don't know what it is.
Yeah, and I put it with the for everyone category, because I'm assuming that's what kind of game it is. It didn't really look like there was a lot of violence in the game or anything like that. It seemed more like a peaceful type. Maybe it's like a puzzle type of game. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean we'll have to wait for more information on that, but it's definitely one that bears watching.
Yeah,
That's
for
a
sure.
really, really creative team they have over at Rare.
Yep.
They're doing a lot of good work.
Yeah. So, and real quick, they had Tetris Effect.
hmm Yeah, it's
Um,
Tetris.
it's Tetris.
It's
Yeah,
Tetris.
yeah. Everybody loves
This
Tetris.
time, this time, there's other people playing too. So,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So,
not with you, just on the same screen.
oh,
So,
you're not playing against each other or anything like that.
no, I mean like they're not in the same. Like you each have your own individual game of Tetris going on. I don't know if it's like high score or whatever, but I mean it's Tetris.
Okay, yeah. And then this next one, and they had a pretty funny um, preview for it. Grounded.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
If you're looking for the biggest game of the year, look for Cyberpunk.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That one's
yeah.
actually out already.
Oh, is it?
Well, yeah, it's in like early access.
Yeah,
It's a survival horror meets Honey I Shrunk the Kids. You're all in the backyard running from
yeah.
spiders and things like that.
And I was a little hesitant to put it there because when I was watching, I was like, oh, okay, it's cute. You have a bunch of kids, running around. It reminded me of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
hmm
But then it showed a part where like the ant was like eating the kid.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
yeah.
was like, I don't know.
They actually have a little arachnophobia slider in the game
Oh,
because
really?
spiders are one of the big enemies, and some people can't deal with spiders.
Oh,
They don't
okay.
want to see giant spiders, so they have a slider based on like how afraid of spiders you are,
Oh,
and
okay.
the further you slide it, the less it looks like a spider until it's just like a little white blob just floating around, doesn't have any legs or anything like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, well,
yeah,
that's thoughtful, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
So, so
But
yeah,
yeah,
that
if that's something you're interested in, you can go play that right now on Steam or Xbox.
okay. Yeah. Next one is Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, really, really excited for Psychonauts.
I didn't play
That's
the
a
first one.
yeah. That the first one came out on the original Xbox. I mean,
Mm,
it's been a while. It's been a while, but it's a really inventive game. Um, Real quick, like summary of what it is. Like all the kids in the game are psychics. In the first game, they're at a psychic summer camp kind of thing, and they're training to become. They're training their powers basically,
okay.
and what they do is um, the kids actually go into people's minds. They run around in their subconscious, and so like all of the levels are really really varied. Like for example, they have like a coach, like a kind of a PE teacher type character in the
Okay.
first game, and you go into his head, and he's the typical like macho kind of thing, teacher. You go into his head, and it's a military obstacle course, almost like you're kind of storming the beach at Normandy kind of
Okay.
thing. It's supposed to be like those people's memories or their thoughts or whatever, but he was just kind of making that up in his head
Okay.
and kind of hiding some childhood trauma. But there was that level. There was another one where you go into and it's just like a suburb, right? Just the houses and the streets and everything. But there's government agents like G-men running all over the place looking for the milkman. Like this is
Oh.
big. It's called the Milkman Conspiracy.
Oh, okay.
And like when you free him, you know, like you're running around trying to figure out who he is, and if you free him at the end of the level, and it actually transforms that character in the real world. Like it kind
Oh.
of triggers something in him, and he ends up trying to go and burn down this asylum because you were messing around in his head, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
it's that kind of thing. You're jumping around back and forth between different psyches. So I assume that they're going to be continuing in that direction. But it was an excellent game.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. And what they showed at the showcase, they had Jack Black singing the theme song. And you know what? I knew this before, but you forget because Jack Black, he's funny, right? He does a lot
hmm
of comedy, but he's a pretty good singer.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a pretty good singer.
And if Jack Black's in it, I'm going to be interested regardless of what it
Yeah, I
is.
like Jack Black. Yeah, I agree. All right, so the last game in this category, which was a late ad, which I didn't know anything about, Balan Wonderland. So you can
Yeah,
explain that one, B.
that one was actually one that was shown prior to the show, in the pre-show, and it's from Yuji Naka, and I forget the other guy's name, but they're the creators of Sonic.
Mm.
They made, from the beginning, they made all the Sonic games for Sega, it's a 3D platformer in like this really kind of cutesy world. And the trailer was like this was when a lot of people got really excited about. I think mainly because of who's behind it.
Mm,
But the trailer to me, it had like the feeling of a trailer for an amusement park ride for an old Disney movie. You know,
yeah.
the voiceover was, I don't know, everything about it just felt really artificial, kind of.
Now that you mention it, I think that they did show that in the video I watched.
Mhm.
Because they showed something from Sega, and I was watching it with my son. I was watching
That
with
was
Jacob. Was
yeah,
that a different game?
that was probably Fantasy Star Online.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
But
'Cause
yeah.
he saw Sega and he was like, "Ooh, Sonic." I'm like, "No, I don't think that's Sonic." Yeah, yeah. So, okay.
But yeah, that one, I don't know. A lot of people got really excited about it. It looked like
It looked like
I could not care less.
a '90s arcade game.
But yeah, that yeah.
Look, some people love that game. Like
Hmm.
none of these games that we're talking about today, I'm gonna bash because they have something for everybody, and some people like these type of games, some people don't. We're trying to focus on the ones that we're somewhat interested in, right?
Yeah, I do think that's a good point for Microsoft. I think it's really important for them. They showed a wide variety of genres.
Yes. Yeah.
That's something they've been really missing all
Yeah.
throughout the Xbox One generation. But they showed they had a good variety in the show last week.
That's one of the main things I took away, right? Nothing got me too excited,
Hmm.
right? Not like, oh my god, I gotta go and play it. But there was a lot of games I was like, okay, that one doesn't sound bad. This one,
Yeah.
not so much. That one, oh, this one, Jacob might like that one. But by the end of it, I was thinking to myself, man, they have something for everybody.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
something for everybody, and even the ones that I wasn't too excited about, I know there's some games in there that I'll check them out, and once I start playing, I'm like, oh yeah, this is really good. I'm glad I played it.
Hmm.
You know. So yeah, we'll get more into that towards the end. We'll talk
Right.
about all that. But the next category is like your I guess your action adventure category.
Okay.
So we'll start with a premiere. It was a world premiere. I can't remember what studio it was, but the game is called Avowed.
Yeah, that's one of Obsidian's.
Obsidian. Okay.
Yeah, that's their new. It's a first-person RPG. You know, it's kind of a magic and melee thing. It's set in the world of Pillars of Eternity, which is
Okay.
their series that they had been working on. They had two games and I think one major expansion for that before Microsoft bought them. They had some really troubled development on both of those, I think. But
Really.
yeah, so this is kind of a say like a spiritual successor to it.
Okay.
The trailer didn't do a whole lot for me. Like it didn't show much. Um,
Yeah, I thought it was Shadow of Mordor for a minute. That's what it kind of
right.
reminded me of.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're shooting those flaming arrows down, and then it's a skeleton army and all that. And then they didn't actually show any gameplay.
No.
They didn't show anything other than that. So I mean, if you're already into Pillars of Eternity or you're a fan of Obsidian, yeah, you're gonna be checking for that. But if
Yeah.
not, it's really kind of a wait and see what else they show. I mean, they're another talented studio. They made Outer Worlds last year, or maybe it was the year before at this point. Um, so yeah, I mean, they when they come out with RPGs, they're typically something you want to give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Speaking of Outer Worlds, that's also in this category. Outer Worlds. It's an Outer Worlds expansion,
Hmm.
Peril and Gorgon.
Right.
Which looking at it looked fun. I'm a fan of Outer Worlds. The main thing for me with Outer Worlds is just the loading time going between
Yeah.
different locations, right?
Yeah.
If
When it came out, I was binging Outer Worlds.
Yeah,
And I told you at the time it was great. If you into Bethesda games, definitely want to play that. It's that style of game.
yeah,
And then at a certain point, I put the controller down and I never even thought about picking it back up. Like
yeah,
some of the quests have you going back and forth between planets, 3 and 4 times, and every time, it's several minutes loading, and I just got tired of it.
Yeah, and it's funny because you told me that before I started playing the game. Like it's a lot of loading time, but like you said, it's a fun game. So when I got into it, I was like, I don't care.
Hmm.
I'll tough it through that. But yeah, like as soon as you get to those missions where it's like I gotta go back and forth, after a while, you're like, oh my god, I don't want to do it. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened with me. I got to a point where I was just like, I just don't want to take this time to go back and forth with this stuff, um, because when you sit down to play, when I sit down to play, I know I gotta dedicate a certain amount of time to the game, right?
Hmm.
And if I'm spending a quarter of my time on loading screens, that takes away from the experience. So yeah,
Right. Yeah.
I hope moving forward with the game, they fix that.
Well, I mean, supposedly when these new consoles come out, loading times are going to be seconds,
Yeah,
not minutes. So
yeah,
hopefully that won't be an issue anymore.
yeah. Um, the next one was Hellblade, which we discussed before.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second time they've talked about it. They didn't really show anything new
No,
from Hellblade. I mean, they revealed that it's going to be taking place in Iceland,
yeah,
but that was about it.
yeah. And then the last one I have in this category, and they didn't show much of this one either, but this was one we've been waiting for years, which is
Mm.
Fable, the new
Yeah,
Fable.
yeah. That's I was really looking for two things out of the show, and that was price and release date, which we didn't get, and Fable. I was hoping to see more of Fable. It was just a teaser, but they did go ahead and actually confirm it. So that's probably at this point my most anticipated game. I love the first three.
Yeah, and funny story for you gamers that know the backstory of the original Fable. The developer Peter Molyneux, is that his
Yeah,
name?
yeah,
So I didn't know anything about this guy. I was late to these games. Look, most of these games that I played in the past, B was on those games before I was, and he would tell me which games were good, which ones weren't. So Fable had already come out. He told me to check it out, and I loved the game. I thought the game was great,
yeah.
and I was surprised to hear that it got such a, I guess, mixed review. Right,
Right. Yeah.
a lot of people weren't feeling it, and it wasn't because it was a bad game. It was because of the promises that Peter Molyneux had made and didn't deliver on.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
yeah,
He was like he's like the ancestor of Damon Grow. If you're
yes,
into sports gaming, you know who that is.
yeah, yeah,
He's out there just promising anything that you want, whatever you want in a game. He's going to tell you you can have it. You know,
yeah.
so no matter what it is you say, like I want to be able to ride a dragon. You're like, cool, you can ride the dragon.
You can do it. Yeah,
I want to be able to get married. Okay, you can get married. I want to be able to dig through, dig down and come out the other side of the world. Go for it. You can do it. And none of that stuff will be there, but he's telling you that in the run up to the game to get you excited.
yeah, yeah,
And Peter Molyneux, I think, he really believed that he was going to put that stuff in the game. He would get on stage and he would just start talking, and he would just start, saying all the ideas, all the things that he would love to put in the game, whether they could actually put it in or not.
yeah. Now the difference between him and Damon Grow is he actually delivered on something. Damon Grow gave
Damon Gro's
you,
a scammer.
yeah, yeah. He's a con artist. He's a con artist.
Damon Gro's a scammer who tried to sneak out of E3 and got he tried to sneak out of E3 and got caught up in an alley by Ryan Moody.
Yeah.
He gave an
Yeah.
interview that looked like a hostage video.
Yeah. Yeah. He's get it out of there quickly. Um. So okay. So that's all from that category. The next category, I'm not even sure how to describe it. It's kind of like I guess narrative based,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I have two games in that one. I could have sworn there was another one, but I couldn't remember it. But the first one is called Tell Me Why,
Hmm.
and it reminded me a lot of that game Life is Strange.
Yeah, it's from the same studio that did Life is
Okay,
Strange,
yeah,
which is an excellent episodic series. This one is episodic as well. The first one is coming out August 27th, late August, regardless. Um, I mean, it looks like Life is Strange taken up to the next level to me. You
Right.
know, the writing, the acting looked really good in that trailer. It really kind of drew you in and made you want to see what the outcome was going to be. Basically, I mean, it's from what you can tell, it's a story about two siblings, and they're returning back to, it looks like their childhood home where there was some traumatic event involving their mother. Um, it doesn't say explicitly, but it looks like maybe one of them killed their
Right.
mother. But it doesn't actually say that explicitly. And then they get separated in foster homes, and they reconnect, and they go back, and they're having visions of what happened, and they're basically trying to get to the bottom of what happened when they were kids.
Right.
It's like a little mystery story kind of.
Now, now I like playing these games.
Hmm.
Right. Usually for me, the story doesn't end like it doesn't end up being a good story. You know, it's just it'll get too weird or it's too cheesy or whatever. But I
Yeah,
still love playing it. It's the experience of just
right.
it's a choose your own adventure kind
Yeah.
in a way, right? You kind of there's multiple endings a lot of times. Based on what you do throughout the story, you get a certain ending, and I
Hmm.
like having that kind of control over a game. But usually it's kind of cheesy, and this one it seems like it's kind of cheesy too. But I will still play
Well,
it.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things. It's writing is hard.
Yeah, yeah,
And when you get down to that third act and you're trying to bring everything home, it's really difficult to do, and a lot of times it just spirals out of control.
but I feel like for a
Uh,
lot of fans, I think a lot of fans feel the way I do about that. Like it's the experience along the way
yeah,
you're more
yeah.
interested in. Like I would definitely play this game, you know.
Hmm.
But I remember looking at it just thinking, this looks kind of corny, but I'm gonna play it.
No, I think it would be good. They've proven themselves over a series of games too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it looks great.
Yeah. And the second game on this list is called As Dusk Falls. Um I
Not
I don't know what to
as
make of that one.
interested in that one. Uh,
No, no.
it
It-
doesn't look like a game to me. It's more like a visual novel than an actual game,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
which is fine if that's your thing. But if I'm turning on the Xbox, I don't want a visual novel. I don't.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't as interested in that either, but and it didn't show a whole lot. So
Yeah, and the story that they did show seemed, I don't know. Maybe I just didn't get it in the trailer, but it seemed a little odd. This family was stopping at I mean, it looked like just a rest stop or whatever, and this other group showed up and they were holding up the place, right?
yeah,
And then later on, they had the family had a little girl with them, their daughter, and when she grows up, she goes and she sees one of the people who held up the store, talking about, "Oh, I got your
yeah,
letters," and I don't know.
yeah, yeah. It didn't really pique my interest.
Yeah, no, that trailer didn't click with me at all.
All right. So the next category is your guess your scary horror type games, which
Mhm.
we're not fans of these games usually outside of The Last of Us.
Right.
Um but yeah, so the first game on my list is Warhammer Dark Tide.
Yeah,
So
and that
I,
all their games to me look really, really generic. Um, and but they have a whole universe of stuff, and I think that's one of those things. Either you're into that or you're not. And
yeah, yeah, if you're into that, I think it's worth checking out. It didn't look bad, as far as gameplay, right?
yeah, well, I mean, again, it's another one where they didn't really show the gameplay. Like I was going to list that with first person shooters. I assumed it was a shooter, but then when I watched it again, I realized they never actually showed any gameplay,
I thought they
and it
showed a
looks like
little
a
bit.
squad. No,
Yeah,
it was a squad of generic soldiers going to check out a generic room filled with generic monsters.
yeah. They look like zombies.
A little bit. Oh well, not zombies. They're these will probably you know runners or freakers or whatever. Like you
Okay,
can't. They're not zombies.
okay, my
Okay,
bad,
they're different.
my bad. And then the next game on the list, they didn't show any of this either. It's just a teaser. Stalker 2.
Yeah, Stalker. I'm actually pretty interested in. I never really got to play the original because it came out as only PC, and I didn't have a gaming PC at the
Oh,
time.
okay.
Um, Yeah, that's a first-person shooter, horror survival game, right?
Hmm.
And it's set in Russia, uh, in around Chernobyl,
I was about to say
and
it reminded me of Chernobyl.
yeah, yeah. So the story is, you had the meltdown in Chernobyl, and then 20 years later there was a second meltdown,
Ooh.
right? And it kind of mutated a lot of the people there and the animals and everything, and now it's this huge exclusion zone. You're not allowed in there. And but a bunch of people go in and they try to get artifacts and basically kind of like treasure hunting kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And scientists go in there to try and study the place and all this stuff. Um, so yeah, you would go in there and once you get into that zone, it was really kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say not open ended, but I guess they were kind of branching storylines. There were 7 different endings depending on what you did.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's really open. Go and do what you want to do, and try to survive basically.
Hmm.
You know,
All right. Yeah. So next game is called The Medium.
yeah, that's another one they had showed previously. Um, at their last event, and that's another one I'm kind of struggling to really see the appeal.
It reminded
Um,
me of The Evil Within. It kind of
mhm,
reminded me of that in a way, like that kind of game. Like it's a horror, but it's story driven for sure.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
and
not really into those games. Those are the type of games that I will watch on YouTube.
right.
I watch somebody else play it because I like the story part of it, but I don't really want to play it.
Yeah, this one has its own little hook where they have two different worlds. Like you have the real world, and then you have a nightmare world
Yeah,
also, and they're being, it says, rendered at the same time, and you're kind of going through both worlds at the same time.
yeah, it's
So
different.
I'm interested to see how that plays out in the gameplay part of it. But as far as like you know the story or anything like that, I'm not real interested.
No,
It seems just, again, I hate to say it looks generic like the other games, but it just kind of does. Like nothing really stood out about it
right?
other than the two worlds thing.
Yeah, yeah. I might check out. I might check out a little bit of the cutscenes and the gameplay on YouTube. I'll watch somebody else play it for a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, other than that, I don't have much interest in playing it. But like I said, if you're into those type of games, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah.
So, and then the last game that I have on here is State of Decay 3. Now, this is another series that I hadn't heard of. So, sorry, there's a State of Decay and a State of Decay 2, and State of
Yeah.
Decay 3 is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, that was from a pretty small studio, Undead, excuse me, Undead Labs.
Hmm.
They recently got bought by Microsoft also, when Microsoft was building up their stable of first party developers. State of Decay was pretty good, the first one. What it is just an open world kind of sandbox, and it's filled with zombies. So you
Right,
go around and you rescue people, add them to your group. You have headquarters that you got to make sure that it's fortified against zombies. You got to make sure you have supplies, you have food and medicine, stuff like that. And it's really just, I mean, there is a story in the game. There's a campaign where you're trying to get out of the county that you're in.
yeah.
The real thing though is just survive as long as you can.
Hmm.
State of Decay 2 came out, I think like a year and a half ago, and it was kind of clunky. There were a lot of bugs and everything initially. Um, so I didn't stick with that one very long. But the trailer for 3 looked like, I mean, it was all a CGI trailer. There wasn't any gameplay in it, but based off of what they showed, it would lead me to believe there's going to be a huge jump in production values for
Right,
3,
right.
which makes sense. If you're now a Microsoft team, that you have access to Microsoft money.
Yeah,
It looked like a big jump in graphics, um, and weather effects and the world all look great. But they're kind of a show that's a show me game, because the last one I had high hopes for and it did not deliver.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So there you go. That's the horror category, and the last category is more of your shooter games. And the big one, Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Now that I mean, I've never been a big Halo fan. It looked like a Halo game to me. It didn't look bad, but
It's funny. I had the exact same take, but mine was much more positive. Yes, it looks like Halo, and that's a great thing.
no, yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just it looked like a Halo game.
Yeah, it's now it's open world, uh, but yeah, it looked like a Halo game. You crash land with some really excitable pilot, and you say, "Hey, I'm going to go take care of all of these aliens by myself," and then
Now,
you go and you take care of them.
yeah, look. I don't know anything about the story of Halo. I know there's been a bazillion different Halo games, and this one they apparently lost the war. I thought they won the war in the first game, but apparently not.
Mm-mm,
Oh,
mm-mm. Every game they come a little closer to losing, and they lost. So
oh, okay, okay.
you didn't lose though. You're a Spartan, and you never lose.
Oh, okay,
Like it's the
okay.
it's the regular Marines that let everybody down, and now you got to come in and clean it up.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah. So this takes place 165 years after they lost. They said that in the beginning of the trailer.
I don't know if it was 160. No, not 165 years. I thought it was
Or days,
165
days,
days.
days. I'm
Days.
sorry, not
Yeah,
years, days.
yeah.
Yeah, 160. Yeah.
Like that would have been quite a trick for your Spartan to still be just rolling around out there 165 years later.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, yeah, the war is, according to Thanos Light at the end, the war's done. The Marines are, they lost, and he wants you to keep fighting so he can watch you die too.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it looks like a Halo game. It looks really fun. The thing I like about Halo, as opposed to most other shooters, is it's really bright, colorful. Uh, and there's a bit of silliness to it, so it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Right.
Unlike a lot of other shooters that are all, the color palette is all grays, grays and browns. It's realistic and gritty.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Halo fans, be excited. Got a brand new Halo game out there. And if you're a Halo fan, you're gonna enjoy it.
Mhm.
So next one on here is Destiny 2.
Yeah, that's a years old game at this point. If you like Destiny or you don't like Destiny, but they did say it's coming to Xbox Game Pass with all of the current expansions for free, and then they're going to put out another version or an updated version for the Series X. I don't know if it's going to be this holiday, but at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last one is a game called Crossfire, and that looked interesting. The story looked interesting. I'm a big story guy, but I was informed before we got on air that this will not be that the campaign will not be available on Game Pass.
Yeah, that was in the fine print in the trailer. Because yeah, we wanted to talk about it. I just mentioned it now that every game, they said at the beginning, every game they showed is going to be available on Game Pass,
Yeah, all of them.
which which is really the story for Microsoft. Right? It's not necessarily the games. I mean, obviously they're trying to put out the best games they can, but the story is you buy Xbox Series X and you subscribe to Game Pass and you have a couple hundred games right there day one, and every single game that Microsoft releases will be on Game Pass day one,
That's pretty
and you
awesome.
don't have to pay anymore. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. But people aren't talking about that. They're talking about, man, Halo didn't look great. These graphics don't look all that. They don't look amazing. They don't look like next gen graphics, and that's because all the games are going to be on the Xbox One as well for at least, they're saying, probably 2 years. Uh, but I think that having that number and that quality of free game or of games coming to Game Pass really kind of trumps the visuals.
Yeah, those games that they're talking about, you're gonna have to pay for those games. That's just what it is, right? Like,
Mhm.
those are gonna be, huge games that you're gonna have to drop $60 for, or you're gonna have to wait a few months till they come on Game Pass, right? Opening day when you get your console, you have a bunch. I mean, they're gonna look good. They're gonna be fine. They're gonna be a lot of quality games. They only went over a handful of the games. There's many more games. They said at the end, like there's a bunch of games that we still haven't announced yet. Some of
Mhm.
them are gonna be really good. You're gonna get your money's worth for sure. But some of those bigger names, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to wait, or you're gonna have to drop that $60, when it comes out.
Well, yeah, I mean, the real thing is right now there's nothing to talk about, right?
Yeah,
The consoles are coming in probably November, but we don't even know that for sure. We
yeah,
don't know how much they're going to cost. We don't know for certain what games are going to be there at launch,
right.
right? So all you have to talk about is, man, graphics didn't look great on that one, right? But when you get your Xbox and you turn on Halo, you're not really going to care about the graphics very long.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're gonna look fine.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the demo that they played looked good,
Yeah,
you know,
I agree. I agree. But
but this is nitpicking season, because there's nothing else to talk about.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But I thought they did a good job with what they showed. And like I said earlier, what I took away from it was, man, they have a wide range of games
Mhm.
for everybody. So the Game Pass, I think that's the best deal going right now. All right.
Yeah, yeah, and until Sony announces, uh, I mean, they have PlayStation Now, right, which is a similar service, except they don't put their own games on there day one, and they don't get as many new games as Game Pass does. So it's a similar service, but for me, inferior.
Now, PlayStation confuses me because they have PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now. And what's the difference?
PlayStation Plus is just their, I mean, it's similar with Microsoft. They have Xbox Live Gold and they have Game Pass, but they have a service that combines both of them. So
Mm.
you pay $15, you get Ultimate, you get everything.
Yeah. Okay.
PlayStation Plus is like Xbox Live Gold. You get free games every month and you get to play online.
Gotcha.
And then
Okay.
PlayStation Now is Game Pass, where initially it was all just streaming,
Mhm.
but now they've added the ability to download games.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. But Xbox, like I said, that's a great deal. That's a great deal. You don't want to spend if you're the type of person that plays a lot of games and you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars, get the Game Pass.
Yeah,
Get the Game Pass. If you're a type of person like me where you have kids that also want to use your console and you don't want to spend, you know, $30 on the new Hello Neighbor game or Roblox, you better go ahead and cop that Game Pass where it's going to
yeah,
be on there. You can get it for free.
yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's pretty awesome. But I want to finish out this show talking about talking about my game, Ghost of Tsushima. this whole show has been about Xbox, but we're gonna finish on some PlayStation.
Yeah. Ghost of Tsushima has been amazing.
Yes, yes,
Uh, I read some of the reviews right before release, and it got good reviews, but not great reviews, right? Like it's sitting like at 83 on Metacritic, right? And I was like, you know, I read a couple of the reviews and they said, oh, it's pretty repetitive and this, that, and the other, and I turned it on and I got into a standoff with somebody and I was like, this is game of the year.
yes, yeah. Um, yeah. This is pretty much how um I called it. We did a show where we predicted what would win Game of the Year, right? And we said it's a toss up between Last of Us and Cyberpunk, right?
Mhm.
But I also said that my personal Game of the Year is probably going to be Ghost of Tsushima. Those are the type of games I enjoy. That's probably going to be my favorite game out of all of them so far. It's looking that way. I
Yeah,
mean, I didn't really play Last of Us. You play Last of Us, but
yeah, yes, I did.
I'm still gonna play it. That game is that yeah, it's tough, man. Like it's
The
draining.
Yeah, our review of Last of Us is up on the website now, so you can check that out. But the short answer is amazing game, and I don't ever want to play it again. I don't ever want to see it again. I don't really ever want to talk about it again.
Right.
Like they're not fun.
No.
Like they're exceptional experiences. They're not fun.
Right. Right. But excellent job, and you know, I I'm sure they'll be right there for the Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, we'll see if Cyberpunk delivers, but I know Ghost of Tsushima is delivering.
Yeah,
Man.
it's Assassin's Creed Japan,
Yeah,
and Assassin's Creed I think has dropped the ball by not doing that setting yet.
I agree.
That's the one everybody's wanted, and I appreciate them going to different places that most games don't go to. Right, like most games, you don't see a lot of games set in the Middle East. You don't
Yeah,
see a lot of games set in Egypt. They even had a few spin-off games in India and Japan and everything. So yeah, you get points for that, but you got to knock out Japan early.
yeah.
You know.
And the way they do the fighting in this game, I think they do an excellent job. You learn different techniques.
Mhm.
You're not just mashing the button. And I'm a button masher. Okay, I'm the king of button mashing. You can do that early on, but as the story progresses, you learn different techniques, and there's different ways to fight different enemies.
Mhm.
And you combine those things over time, and you get used to doing it, and it makes for awesome video clips, man. And if you look
Yeah,
at our timeline, we've posted a lot.
yeah. You know if you're a little bit patient and you think about how you're going to go about fighting, these groups of enemies, I mean, it looks outstanding.
Yeah,
It's incredibly cinematic.
yeah,
The photo mode, I don't usually mess with photo modes in games.
me
You
neither.
know, I could care less. Like I played that scene, it was cool, whatever. I don't need a picture. I'm not gonna go back and look at it ever again. But man, I'm stopping every 5 minutes to frame up pictures in Ghost of Tsushima. You know?
Yeah, they make you feel like you're a photographer, man, because
Yeah,
at points of the game, you're like, man, I gotta stop and take a picture of this. You know,
yeah.
it's an amazing game. Beautiful settings,
Hmm.
great action. You know, good story. It's been amazing so far, and I don't even think I'm halfway through it yet.
Yeah, I'm into Act Two.
Me too.
There's
Yeah.
3 acts, so I'm into Act Two. The only thing that I don't really like about it is the main character. It's kind of boring to me. Um, I like some of the other one of the side characters much more. I find them much more interesting. Jin Sakai, not a whole lot going on there, but
I mean, I
it's
like
fine.
him. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think he's as boring as you think he is, but I see where you're coming from. But yeah, I think awesome story so far. You know, but yeah, that's
And you don't need to be too interesting because I'm going around and I'm grabbing up all the armors and the armor dye, customizing the look. I don't even have to look at Jin Sakai anymore. His face is completely covered. It's fine.
that's
So
another thing I like. The different types of armor, the way you can customize it, your sword kit.
mhm.
Um, yeah, you can do a lot in that game. You can do a lot with the
I got
character.
I got the Clan Sakai armor, your father's armor in the game, and I have it almost fully upgraded. I don't know how the Mongols don't run screaming every time they see me. But
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to max out the Ronin armor, but my son didn't like that one. He wasn't a fan of the hat, so I had to switch up and go elsewhere. But that's my favorite one. Well, it was my favorite one until something happened in the game.
I mean,
Then I had to burn it.
I mean, it's been a good amount of time. We can talk a mild. I mean, fairly mild spoilers. I mean, you can see it coming in the game. It's not a
Yeah,
it's not a shocking twist.
so you got a little bit ahead of me in that, and I told you, I was just like, he's gonna stab you in the back, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, yeah,
Your boy Ryuzu, he's
a
you
traitor
can see it from jump. Like he's still hung up on this duel y'all had years ago. You haven't talked to this
that he
dude
lost
in
fair and square.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not how it's going down in his mind. So
So
he's still hung up on that. He hangs you out to dry, and it's go time.
here's my problem with him, man. And he's not an interesting character to me. He's a punk. All right. He's a punk. Because he told you he had a problem with how it went down. Okay, cool. You talked about it a couple times. He mentioned it the first time, and Jen's like, yeah, my bad, I guess, And then he brings it up again when you guys are riding somewhere, and Jen asks him, okay, what's up, man? Like, the second time you brought it up, well, what's up with that? And he tells him, like, look, you come from an established family, right? Like,
Mhm.
you're already set. You didn't need to win that one. I needed to win that battle so I can impress some people and get a good job. So Jin was just like, okay, but I'm connected. You could have just came from me. I would have hired you, right?
Yeah.
And Rios was like, well, no, I didn't want to do it. I want to show that I can make it on my own. Okay, cool. So case closed. You're on your own. That's your fault. Now you tried to make it on your own. You didn't make it on your own. You could have came to me at any point to get a job. We're best friends. I'm going to hook you up, but your pride got in the way.
Apparently, you're not best friends.
Okay, look.
Apparently, Jin thought so,
What
and
I'm seeing
Ryuzo
here
not
is
so much.
what I'm seeing here is you're a loser. You're a sore loser, right? You're a sore loser in that, and you failed at your business ventures. Okay, what does that have to do with me? And I was your out because I could have hooked you up at any time to bail you out, but now you're running a crew of misfit samurais.
It's true because when you run into him in the game, the first thing out of his mouth is, my people are starving.
Yeah. As soon as you meet them, you bring food. You bring food, right? Okay, so they're starving, and you need to feed them. And that's another thing I don't like either, because Jin told him, look, help free my uncle, and you're gonna be good. Your men are you're gonna have all the food, you're gonna have jobs, you're gonna be good. We were right there.
Listen.
We were right
No.
there.
Don't
We
try
were
and go
right there.
Listen, first of all, you're leaving out important plot points here. One, when you hook up with him, you're trying to convince him to come and help you save your uncle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way you did that was saying, I'm going to go and get you some food, right? So we're going to go and find this camp or whatever, and we're going to get you some food. They go, they help you do that. They help you clear out the camp. Ain't no food, and then Jin's like, no, man, I know this other place.
No,
let's go over here. Let's go over there. Then we'll get the food over there. It has to be on the ships. That is exactly what happened.
That's not what happened.
It has to be on the ships. We'll go and get it. Yes, because you ran across some village that told you that these people came and stole their food.
Yeah, but he didn't. But Jin didn't promise I'm gonna get you food. He said I'm gonna. He said let's go look for some food. And you guys found that guy that said, okay, they're storing it here. And he said, okay, you heard the same information I heard, right?
No.
I will help you go in and get the food.
It was before. Jin heard about that before, and then he was like, we're gonna go over here. They stole these people's food. We're gonna go get it. So they all come and they help you. Ain't no food. And so Jin's like, my bad. I mean, I don't know. But you know what though? You know what? There's some ships over there. So he found like a scroll saying, oh yeah, we're moving out. And so he's like, okay, cool. Obviously they took the food, they put it on the ship because they're getting ready to leave. Let's go take down these ships. Your boy goes and helps you clear out the ships. Ain't no food. And then he's like, listen, you also
saved your boy's life because he's about to
just come. Okay, 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Okay, that's what you do.
He lost another fight, by the way.
So then after there's no food again, you're like, just come help me save my uncle. And you know what? He
found a map. He found some information. Say, okay, the food's going to be at this place, and they went to that place. But he said there was too many. It was too heavily guarded, his starving Ronin couldn't take him without Jin.
And then you talk about his failed business ventures. Guess what? He found a better business partner.
But check this out. This is why it's not a problem, because in the end they still got food, right? Because they all got captured. They were fed well while they were captured. And who came to save them? Jin. Do you remember? You had to go and free them all. You had to go and free them all.
Yeah. You had to free a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So
all he found a better business opportunity with Koten Khan, who was going to make him a samurai. He was going to give him money. He was going to give him food. All he had to do was kill Jin.
Okay, but he didn't. Not only did he not. So this is another punk move that he did. Right. Okay. We're fighting one-on-one. Look, I'm sorry, man. Like, I gotta feed my men. Right. That's what he says. I gotta feed my men. It's nothing personal. Okay, cool.
It is personal though.
Yeah, it is personal.
It's not personal, but it's definitely personal because I hate you.
Yeah. I'm doing this because I'm a loser. But so then you fight Jin. He fights Jin. He loses again. Who saw that coming, right? He loses again, and Jin spares him and says, "Look, okay, let's stop this, man. Like, all right, we're close, man. Like, the food's right up there. All right, we just get my uncle free. We can take this castle. Take your men to charge. Let's go, and it's all good, man. Like, you're my boy. This didn't even happen, right? We were just sparring real quick, right? Iron sharpens iron. We're just, let's go, man." And what did he do? He dry snitched on you. He's over here. Everybody's over here. And he ran away. He ran away.
Look, listen. That was the first time, not right in that moment, but a little bit later was the first time I was like, come on, because he runs away, right? And then after you free your uncle, you get to go into the second part of the island. Yeah. And I'm just riding around. I'm going to these farms trying to help out these worthless farmers, by the way. But that's neither here nor there. I'm trying to help out these farmers, and I see Ryuzo in the middle of a field, and he calls out to me, and I was like, "Oh, it's on right here and now. Okay, this is ring. I hop off my horse. I get in there. We about to do it. It ain't him. It's some of the other dudes. He ain't even there." I was like, you got the rest of your crew out here trying to fight me now?
Coward.
Come on.
Coward. Yeah.
But listen. Jin's uncle was not going to give that dude anything. Jin's uncle is ace. Jin's uncle is ace.
Jin's uncle was going to behead him. Like, so I heard the sword fight outside the castle. I heard your conversation. You know what has to happen, right?
Jin's uncle is the dude who looked at Yuna, who's been helping you from jump, who saved Jin's life, and been helping Jin from day one. Yuna from, I want to say Yarikawa. I can't remember for sure.
Yeah, something like that.
He looked at Yuna from Yarikawa and was like, "Oh, is that where you learned how to steal?"
Yeah.
Like, just not a thank you.
Is that where you learned your thuggish ways? I almost respected his uncle. I was like, look, he lives by a code. He's going to die by that code. I respect it. Until he tells you to go meet up with this pirate. And he says, yeah, I have some unsavory friends too. I'm like, oh, right. You're friends with thugs too. So why are you giving me a hard time? Right. Yeah.
And no props for Jin either. After he basically came back from the dead twice, because he basically got killed in the opening battle. Then he heals up, he comes to the castle, he gets thrown off a bridge trying to save you.
He got killed in the opening battle and got killed in the opening battle. Yeah, and got revived by Yuna.
Yeah, gets thrown off the bridge, comes back again, and actually gets you out. And the first thing basically you say to him is, "Yeah, we're not doing that stabbing in the back stuff anymore."
Yeah.
You're like, that's the coward's way.
Look, you showed great resilience, but we're not doing it like that anymore. Right. I don't like that.
So no, I don't blame your boy for not trusting. Oh, my uncle will give you everything. No, listen. This, and we talked about this before. There was an article on Polygon about how the samurai aren't really properly represented in Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. How basically they're a private army for lords in feudal Japan, and that's really what that comes down to. It's like Jin was like, "Yo, man, my uncle's a great guy," and Ryuza's like, "Have you met your uncle?"
But, like, you know what? He wasn't man enough. He wasn't man enough to say that, right? And Ryuza didn't think that anyway, because he'd been trying to get put on by those same people.
No, he's been trying to get put on, but he knows that's how it is. That's why he's trying to get put on. He don't want to be on the other side of that anymore.
Look, Ryuzo is just a confused coward. All right, he wants to be like Jin. He wanted to show that he can do it on his own, but he can't do it on his own. And instead of reaching out for help and saying, "Okay, man, look, I tried it. I need a little help. Can you hook me up?" He goes to the enemy and says, "All right, what do I gotta do?" Because I mean, is that doing it on your own?
Listen. Here's the plot twist. They're both the enemy. Yeah. Okay. And then Jin's uncle and Koten Khan, they're the same guy.
And if you think about it, right? You didn't, or you betrayed your friend for Koten Khan. He gave you an out and said, "Look, this fight didn't happen. Don't worry about it. Let's come on. Let's fight together, right?" And then you go and snitch on him. That's not what Koten Khan paid you for. right? He didn't pay you to say, hey, he's over here, fellas.
No,
He paid you to
again,
kill him.
That's where you're wrong. He didn't pay you to kill Jin Sakai. He paid Ryuzu for Jin Sakai to be dead. Those are two different statements.
And he still wasn't dead, which is why he still had to earn it.
No, he wasn't dead. But I'm just saying, those are two different statements. Doesn't matter how he ends up dead.
I hope it's meant starve.
Wow. They're not going to get a chance to starve, judging by what happened at the beginning of Act 2. I'm going to take out each and every one of them.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
They're just randomly, standing around the world waiting for me to ride by so we can duel. And that's not going to end with you getting a bowl of rice. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, why would they do that? I mean, they all see me fight, firsthand. They seen Jin fight, up front. Like, what are you thinking?
They're like, well, you beat Ryuzu and we can't beat him. That's why he's our leader. Yeah. Why would I fight you?
And you saved us. So I'm waiting for one of those guys to be like, hold up, man. I kind of like Jin, like.
This brings us back to my earlier point. Jin is not likable. So nobody likes Jin.
But then stop asking me for help.
That's his job. This is modern day police all over. Yeah. Right? Like, you don't like me. You don't like how I do things, but you still want me to do my job.
Yeah. I know.
Jin is rolling around the island, just walking into people's houses, stealing their stuff, and be like, "Why don't you love me?"
Oh, that's so true, man. That's so true. But man, what a fun game! Yeah, what a fun game. And yeah, you had these moments. We can talk and joke about it like this, and these are the games that you get excited for. These are the games that you hope turn out the way that this game did. Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen that way. I would probably say the majority of the time it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah. But Sucker Punch is a high quality studio. So I knew it would be fun at the very least.
Yeah.
But that's why a lot of people get mad about developers milking series or whatever. And I'm like, well, you don't know that a new IP is going to work out. Right. You don't know that a new series is going to work out. But you do know that you look forward to Assassin's Creed every other year.
Yeah,
because you know what you're going to get. And you like it.
Yeah, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan too. Because like you said, you know what you're going to get, and they always have good stories, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an enjoyable game. Is it the best game in the world? No, probably not. But it's one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
And also, part of it too is we talk about letdowns is expectations, and it's hard to not expect what they're promising you. But you gotta understand, like, these studios they're gonna oversell a game, especially when when they go to E3 and all this stuff. I had to learn that. I didn't understand that when I first started watching E3. B used to tell me like, no, that's not going to be the game that you see when it gets released. But I'm like, but they're showing it right here. Like, yeah, that's right. I want that game.
Yeah.
But that's not how it is. So you got to learn how to temper your expectations. And if you do that, you won't be as disappointed in these games.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about E3 that may never come back, but just in general, announcement and release, those are two separate. They're two different things, and you got to separate them in your head.
Yeah.
You got to learn to be excited for the thing that they showed, and then also be excited when you get the actual thing.
Yeah. But all right, so you want to wrap it up here?
Yeah, we can wrap it up. We do want to mention, we have our shows on Anchor.
Yep.
We did start up the YouTube channel, so go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button. But we, on Anchor, you can subscribe. We are going to be doing a subscriber giveaway. Once we hit 200 subscribers, we are going to give away a PlayStation 5 or a Xbox Series X, your choice. So, go ahead and get on there. You can subscribe for as little as 99 cents. And, tell your friends, spread the word around. As soon as we hit 200, we're going to do a drawing for that. And hopefully you'll get it day one. I mean, that's going to depend on their supply at this point, you know.
Right.
But yeah, so once we get 200 subscribers, PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, you can get it for as little as a couple dollars.
Yeah. So, and like we said before, thank you guys that are already supporting us. Thank you to the future supporters. All right. That's what keeps the show going. And that's what allows us to give us, for us to give you these prizes. So, let's keep it going. And yeah, that's it. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.